Good day. My name is Daryl Martin. Students call me Mr. D, but you can call me Daryl. What I'm going to do in this short video is contrast Alliance lesson plan template versus one I'm traditionally been using. Okay, for starters, Alliance is much more detailed. They list the TPE, teaching performance expectations up front. So they always want you to keep that in the forefront, okay, forefront and in the background. Okay. For example, TPE number 6. How is theory applied to the lesson? They want you to know that up front. I traditionally use the KUD method. Students will know, students will understand, and students will be able to do. I traditionally use those methods, and that would carry me through my lessons plan. And the measurable, that would be my measurable objective in addition to listing the Common Core standards, the ones that will be aligned with the lesson plan. Okay. Secondly, classroom management. Okay. I've never had a problem with classroom management. How will you create a healthy learning environment? Well, I think that's a reflection of the educator. If the educator is positive and upbeat, talks, encourages the students, well, you will have a healthy learning environment. In addition to stuff like make sure the lighting is proper, maybe throw a couple of plants in the classroom, stuff like that. Okay. Opening, how will you communicate with your students about what is about to happen? Okay, well, when introducing new material, I always like to access prior knowledge. And once you access prior knowledge, you can scaffold, you can start to build off of that. Okay. And once the students once you get that prior knowledge going, they kind of like feed off into it, and it kind of like leads them into the next lesson or the next set of knowledge because they have experience from that old knowledge that brings them to the new knowledge, if that's making any sense. Guided practice. We, you. I see a problem on the board. I will do a couple of them. After that, the class, we do the next few of them. Okay. And then after that, the students do is what you call independent practice. Okay. How will I know if my students have mastered or if they're having problems struggling with it? Well, during independent practice, I like to always walk around the classroom, just kind of like glancing, not pointing at nothing out in particular. And if I see a student kind of like struggling or there's nothing on his piece of paper, well, I might uh, have someone pair up with that student. Okay, kind of like teach and encourage that student. Closing. How will you summarize what they learned? One of my favorite parts is the review, and I'm big on participation. Okay, so when at the end of class, well, all during class, I will give participation points. Okay, so then at the end of classroom, at the end of the class session, when I ask for a review, students will raise their hand all during the class. And one thing I'm really high on is I don't want one student answering all the questions. Okay. That student who answers all the questions is going to get, a good grade, but I want participation from other students. Okay. So that's how you know, that's how I can judge who's learning, you know, who's participating, stuff along that nature. The one of my biggest challenges would be to assess myself. Okay, a lot of times I underassess myself. If that I, I if I deserve a 7, I'll give myself a 5, something like that. And I think that's okay. Another challenge would be just to keep my students engaged in their learning. Okay? And if you make learning fun, you will keep them engaged. If you make it easy, I think you will keep them engaged. I always want to break it down LCD to the lowest common denominator, but as Votsky said, always keep that carrot dangled in front of them. Always keep them striving. Okay, always keep them reaching.